Hi everyone and welcome to the tutorial part of this video. I wanted to show you exactly how to make this mini album. I know it's when you look at it and you think, "Ooh, that's really neat" or whatever. Well, it's always nice to know how to actually make it. So, this is our form for our outside cover. And again, when I've used my outside cover, I've used bristle board, poster board, whatever you call it, that really thick, or if you have some really thick cardstock, you could use that. Just so that it has a very much denser and much more rigid cover on it, just because that's going to get the most wear on it. So this piece is 8¼ inches wide and 4 inches tall. Okay, and then we take and we score it in 4 inches from each side. So we end up with 1/4 inch in the inside as our spline, so that way you actually have the room to fit in all the pages and everything that goes in there, because it is going to be by the time you get photos and everything in there, it's going to be a little thicker, right? So when we do our papers, as you saw in the photos, this is obviously going to be our exterior, and our exterior here, I've also created the papers at 8¼ by 4, and then also scored it at 4 inches from each side, both for the outside of the album, so just roughly loosely fitting it on, that's kind of what it's going to look like, as well as for the inside. Okay, so I've also 8¼ by 4 and then scored it at 4 inches from each side, so that way it fits nicely. It doesn't bind up those papers. Well, you can kind of see a little bit because it's not glued yet, but then that way it won't bind everything up. Okay, so that's the simple cover part. When we get into the inside, I didn't want the pages to be exactly 4 by 4, because again, I'm always thinking, you know what, if they're 4 by 4, maybe something will hang out a little bit or whatever. I really kind of don't want that to happen. So I've created these ones at 3¾ by 3¾ just made them a little bit smaller. It fits in a little nicer. Plus, you're going to actually be able to see this, the inside cover a little bit once this gets glued in here. Okay, so my other pages, that's just page 1 here. And incidentally, that is a background paper. I didn't do anything to it. That comes as it is, and I'll talk little bit about more of that when it actually is a finished project. So on the inside for our pages, what we've done is, obviously for the first page, it's just a single little sheet. For the second page, here we are. I've actually, when I printed them, as you can see, I've used that 3¾ inch page, put 2 of them right side by side, made sure they lined up perfectly, and then printed it and cut it. So that way I fold it like this, okay? And the reason for that is we're gonna glue the 3 sides. We're gonna leave the top open, so that way we have a tag that goes in the top. And then this way, all the pages are nicely put together, okay? They all kind of hang together. You don't need to create anything on the inside. How we do that part is, I just took some extra little scrap paper that I had left over when I was trimming up these ones, and I just have 1/4 inch. So the whole strip is 1/2 inch with a score line down the center. And what's going to happen here before it gets put together is I'm going to glue this one on there. I'm going to glue this one on there. And then as you can see, they will all remain together. Okay? So then this way, as you flip the page, it's going to come over. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to glue another one on here. And I'm going to glue another one on this one. Okay, like that. And this one is already glued onto the front. So as you can see, it's kind of basically what you're doing is you're making a spine, a hidden spine of all these papers, and it's going to be right at the back here. So you don't have anything exposed, yet they're all going to flow through correctly. And I hope that makes more sense, and I'll explain it more once it's all put together. I'm sure it'll make a little more sense to you there. But thanks for tuning into the tutorial portion. I'll be right back with the finished project, and we can talk a little bit more about it then. Here it is, folks, the finished project. Isn't that fabulous? This is obviously made using our bundled French country collection that just was released here a short bit ago. And man, is it a great kit to work with. On the front of this, as you saw this background paper before when I was showing you the tutorial, this is floral background paper that comes right to you in the kit. Beautiful, beautiful. If you love the florals, Mary Fran does such a great job. You really have to check these out. And this comes in several colors in the kit too. I happen to chose the white one with the white back to it. This grain sack package with the memories on it, with this nice little sentiment. How perfect for this, being that it has memories, gives us reasons to smile and reasons to laugh, but most of all, they give us moments to never forget. Perfect for the front of a mini album, right? This flower, I've printed that off and raised it up here, put it on some dots, as well as the little butterfly down here, another couple elements you get in there, as well as this shutter down the side. Now, I've tucked that in behind there, and you don't see as much of it, but I don't know if it comes through on the video or not really well, but it actually turned out really well. So opening up to the inside here is pages 1 and 2. This one, like I was mentioning in the tutorial, this here is a background paper. You get all this. I've done nothing to this other than put this little circle dot on the top here, which is obviously only partially glued down so that I can slide a picture underneath there. But otherwise, all this cluster, the celebrate moments, all that stuff, that comes to you just like that. I simply just resized it so that it would fit for the size. This one on this side of the page here, obviously I've created a pocket and I've used the cutting board. Isn't that something? That cutting board looks so much like wood, and like you have it on video, here I am in real life. This looks like wood. It is just fabulous. So I thought it'd work good for a journal tag. And then you can obviously put in a photo if you want it in here. And as far as to design the page, this actually comes as already put together for you. Mary Fran has 3 of these in the kit and in the different colors. But what I've done is I printed off an extra piece of this paper and a ribbon so that way I could create a pocket with it, because obviously digitally it's one piece of flat paper. But I thought it turned out wonderful. And in between each of these pages, I'll flip it up this way, this is a pocket on the top. So remember when we glued these pages together, when I was showing you in the tutorial, I actually only glued, obviously, here and left the top open so that it gave you a perfect place to have a tag. Here's a journal tag for you. You could paste a photo on the back. You could include a photo in the top if you want to, like slide one in here. If I can get that back in there. There we go. So great tags, and you'll see there's 3 of them throughout this mini album here. So pages 3 and 4 here. Again, I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to point this out to you. That's where my spine is. Remember how we glued those papers together so that they'd have a spine that you didn't have to glue to the inside cover of the album? This just glued them all together. So that's where that is. On this page here, let me just hold my hand down here. This looks like grain sack material, or possibly that really linen tea towel type look. It is just a fabulous paper, and again, there's several colors of that in the kit, but I chose the red to go with. And the frame, I don't know how it shows up on video, but this really looks like a textured wooden frame where you have, the coves and the curves in it and everything else. And obviously it's blank in the center, and I've left the top unglued so that you can slide your photo into there and just print it off this tag, Memories to Cherish, which actually is up on the little foam dots just to give it a little interest. On this side of the page here, this is the background paper, which has the plaster peeling off of a brick wall. Fabulous. Like, how French is that? That is just such a vintage feel to it. And again, this Paris item, that is only glued partially down, so you can see, you can get your photo underneath there. But that is meant to look like a drawer pull, you'd have on your cabinet or things like that. And that just, turns out stunning. And again, in between there, I've got another tag in there, a journal tag, in order to give it something a little extra and give you more spots in order to do things with. Pages 5 and 6 here. Here is that floral I was talking about on the front. So that is the same paper as is on the cover, okay, or on the back, I guess. Let's flip this way. That's the same paper. I've sized it down a little bit farther even, just to make the pattern a little bit smaller. And this obviously has the red back to it. And the Joie de Vivre, this label, again, comes to you. I haven't done a single thing. I just print and cut it out. And again, I only glued the bottom of it so that you would have an area where you could slide your photo and tuck your photo into there. On this side of the page here, again, this whole page is a background paper. I didn't do anything. I just resized it, printed it, and cut it. How easy is that? And that's one of the things that I loved about this 4x4 mini album is it doesn't allow you to be as elaborate as a full mini album. Don't get me wrong. And that has a lot of fun to it because you can have places that open and everything else. And I could have done more certainly in here, I guess, with magnets and, all that kind of stuff. But in having it this way, you have so much space to still create the mini album, place in your photos. You still have this great item, but it's a little quicker to make for you. So again, getting back to this background paper, like, look at this. Look at the clustering Mary Fran has done for us already. And again, like I said, I resized it, I print it, there it is. That's simple. And again, tag in here, different colors. So there's all the 3 colors that you get in the kit. I've used each of them so that you would have those. Lastly, on this page, last 2 pages here, this is a frame. You get this element in the kit. So it looks like a picture frame that Mary Fran has inserted in the beautiful pattern into there. It looks very vintage, very cool. That way you can write on the back, you can put your photo here or place your photo on the back, whatever you want to do. And all I did, again, was just take a background paper, resize it to what I thought the pattern looked best as, put this, here is another one. Remember I said we saw this yellow grain sack or tea towel type material pattern paper here in this page, right? Here it is in red, and then this tag again, Fabrique de Nitwit. I have just simply print, cut, put it up on some foam dots, and what a great page with a pocket. So when I printed that out, that created my beautiful pocket for me to slide that in. The last page, again, a fantastic page, so intricate, just that French appeal of the design on it and everything else. And as well, the tag matches perfectly with the same as this here, but in white, goes to coordinate so well. And again, I left that open so you could slide a photo in there. Just simply resize that tag to fit. So when I put these pages together, obviously this is glued down to the cover, okay? That is glued, oh, and you can see my glue came apart here. So sorry for that, I'll have to re-glue that. But that is glued down to that so that that actually keeps everything together for you in your mini album. So there it is, folks. It's that easy to make a nice small 4x4 mini album, and look how many spots you have. Like spots for photos, you have 1, 2, 3 if you want to use the tag, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You have almost a dozen spots for, or actually 12 you could place in behind here. You have a dozen spots for photos in here, and so great to make, and how wonderful looking, right? Nice, cute little mini album would be a perfect gift for someone. So I hope you've liked the tutorial and the mini album itself. I hope that you'll actually go and make one yourself. These are so much fun. It was easy to do. It doesn't take, like I said, the length of time that a mini album does, but yet still gives you such fantastic results. So take a trip over to our store. Again, this is our bundled French country collection. But before you go, remember down in that corner there, you'll see our Nitwit Collections logo. Click on that logo in order to be subscribed to our YouTube channel so you'll be made aware of whenever videos become available. And as well, give us the thumbs up on this video and leave us a comment. Let me know if you liked the mini album. Let me know if you thought it should be something else. Maybe I went through something too quickly and you had a question. Hey, whatever it is, we're always happy to hear from you and hear what your thoughts are. So thanks once again, and I hope you'll try making this yourself.